Okay, we are live. I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to remind council, municipal staff, and members of the public in attendance that this electronic public meeting is being live streamed to the public. A video recording of this meeting will be available to the public on the township's YouTube account. Physical attendance of the public at this meeting is restricted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to thank the applicants for their patience and understanding of the need to organize this meeting through the use of technology. The municipality has made every effort to ensure all affected property owners were informed and are able to participate in this planning process. And Sue, I'll have you read the notice.
Thank you. One of the purposes of the Planning Act is to provide for planning processes that are open, accessible, timely, and efficient. Accordingly, all written submissions, documents, correspondence, emails, or other communications, including your name and address, form part of the public record and will be disclosed and made available by the municipality to such persons as the municipality sees fit, including anyone requesting such information. Accordingly, in providing such information, you shall be deemed to have consented to its use and disclosure as part of the planning process.
The purpose of this meeting is to hear persons' comments in regards to zoning bylaw amendment application made by the applicant, owners applicants Peter H. Vreeker and Janet Lee M. Vreeker, file number VRE-2020-10. And Silas, I will let you proceed with this then.
Thank you, Mayor Love. Page 20, item 2.1 is page 1 of the cover letter from the County of Renfrew, dated December 2020. Item number 2.2 is the County of Renfrew Planning Division Zoning Bylaw Amendment Report to Council dated December the 11th, 2020. Number 3, the purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone a waterfront residential property that is 2,510 square meters in area to reduce the required water setback from Kaministkig Lake from 30 meters to 28 meters to permit the expansion of an existing deck. The effect of the amendment is to rezone the subject lands from residential 1, R1 to residential 1, exception 69, R1-E69. All other provisions of the zoning bylaw shall apply. Item number 4, report on application and notice. 4.1, the notice of complete application is attached, which was sent out on December the 11th, 2020. Item 4.2, the notice of application and public meeting were sent out to all affected property owners within 120 meters, which is 400 feet, of the subject application, and to all public bodies as required on December the 14th, 2020. Item 4.3, notice was posted on the subject property on October. That is a typo. It should be December the 14th in there. That was from my previous template that I was using. So that is corrected and should read December the 14th, 2020. And I will just now elaborate on the application. This is an application that is just east of the Lion rezoning that we just had back on October the 20th. Once again, this is a similar situation. We're coming closer with a development to Kaministkig Lake, which is a highly sensitive lake. And in this case, the Vreekers are just wanting to expand their deck, and they were advised that they should have sent in a general inquiry form to the County of Renfrew because we now have a new county official plan which requires all these studies. And the Vreekers opted not to do the general inquiry. They thought it would take too long. They just proceeded on their own to initiate an EIS study. So if you refer back to pages 21, 26, the county planning report has taken into consideration this EIS study. And on, if council has had an opportunity to read that report, on page 26, the recommendation is that subject to any concerns or information raised at the public meeting, the zoning bylaw amendment be passed. The recommendation from the EIS described above can be implemented at the building permit stage. So there was nothing controversial in the report. It is just during construction that provisions be taken that no flow or anything like that goes to the water, or any silt gets deposited. So I think it's fairly straightforward. And then I will proceed now to item number 5, notice to public bodies, written responses and or telephone messages. I did not receive any. Written comments, item number 6, there were none as well. Number 7, verbal report or general or telephone inquiries and or attendances at the municipal office, there were none. And now I'll hand it over to you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Are there any oral or written presentations by those in attendance? I see Mr. Vreeker is actually the only one who is attending the meeting, so this is pretty straightforward. If you wish to speak to it, please feel free, but otherwise I think we can proceed.
It looks good to me.
Okay, great. Just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Because that's your opportunity to speak to it. Any questions or discussion by council? Councillor Poplinski.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. I just want to mention that I see there are no objections from any at all from neighbors and so on. I have attended the site and I'm quite familiar with that piece of property to begin with, but I just wanted to see for myself. And yes, this is a very minor adjustment that's being made, and I would have no objection to having this approved without any further testing it or anything else. I think they're going to meet all the requirements as need be, and I would be in favor of having this development proceed.
Councillor Bromwich.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Chair. Just a question. I'd be interested in knowing roughly the cost of the EIS, just for our own information. What does this run when a person is required to get one? Maybe Silas or whoever. I'm not asking for personal information, just a ballpark figure.
Do you want me to give it to you?
Sure.
That's up to you. It's your choice.
Sure, it's $2,500.
Okay, thank you. All right, we would never pressure you to do that, but you know, it is interesting for council to be aware of what that costs. It's again a matter, in some cases with the changes that have occurred in the official plan, there will be some studies required, and it is going to add to the cost of development. And also people like yourself who are just trying to make a change to their property that is very minor. So it is unfortunate, but it's the reality of the world we live in right now. Is there any other questions or discussion from council? Okay, I'm not seeing any, so I'll turn it back over to Silas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item number 10, pages 29 and 30 are copies of the draft bylaw, which will be presented to council later today at the council meeting for consideration. That is everything. Thank you.
Okay, and Sue, please.
Council is also required by section 34(14.5) to inform the public at the public meeting of who is entitled to appeal to the local appeal tribunal under sections 34(11) and 19 as follows.
Yes. Okay, we lost the volume on what Sue is saying.
Receiving the application.
Okay. Sue,
The
I'm sorry.
applicant, yes?
We are losing you. You're in and out. Would you like me to read the section 34 pieces, because we're losing you and they should be read? Or Silas,
Yes,
could you
please
read
do.
them? Silas, would you prefer to read them?
I can, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continuing, section 34 bracket 11 bracket, if council decides to refuse an application or refuses or neglects to make a decision on an application within 120 days of the municipal clerk receiving the application, the applicant or the Minister of Municipal Affairs may appeal to the local planning appeal tribunal by filing an appeal with the clerk of the municipality. Section 34 bracket 19 bracket, not later than 20 days after the giving of notice of passing of the bylaw, the applicant, any person or public body who made oral submissions at the public meeting or made a written submission to council before the bylaw was passed, or the Minister of Municipal Affairs may appeal to the local planning appeal tribunal by filing an appeal with the clerk of the municipality. Thank you.
Thank you, Silas. I just wanted to make sure that every box was ticked and everything was done properly. And it is frustrating when the internet at the office is so bad that the public would not have been able to hear that information. So good, we've got that done. And then with that, I'm going to close the meeting. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Mr. Vreeker.
So
Thank you.
does this mean I get it?
This means that it comes to the council meeting that's going to be happening at 10 o'clock today. Now it's later on in the agenda, and council will have a bylaw that we will be able to vote on at that point. But there were no issues or concerns raised by council, so I certainly wouldn't be too worried if I were you.
No
It's-
problem.
it's
Thank you
not-
very much for everybody's time.
Silas, yes.
Just for Mr. Vreeker's information, when council does consider the bylaw, whether they pass it or refuse it, I have to send out a notice of passing or refusal of bylaw, and that there is a 20-day appeal period that follows. So there is still a process. So we're still looking at some time, but council will look at that later on today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you at 10 o'clock for the council meeting.
Yes.